Through analyzing the JP Morgan study and working with clients who fell into this trap, I've discovered that this mistake leads to chronic underspending and can disrupt both your retirement income and your tax planning. And that's exactly why I'm making this video for you today, to show you what the mistake is, why it's so common, and the strategy to help you avoid this pitfall entirely. So let's get right into it. Most retirees only withdraw the required minimum distribution. I'll refer to that as the RMD today. They only take that amount from their IRA, and that's the trap. JP Morgan found that 84% of retirees with IRAs subject to RMDs only take the required minimum, and the result? Chronic underspending, missed lifestyle opportunities, and much higher taxes later on in life. And why is that? Because this creates an anchoring effect. People use the RMDs as a spending ceiling rather than a floor. You see, RMDs aren't designed with your retirement lifestyle in mind. They're all about tax collection, not life planning. And on top of that, RMD calculations fluctuate with the account values, which means your income can change year after year after year, leaving you unsure of what you can actually safely spend. And that's how people drastically underspend despite having adequate resources. And that's just the beginning. And before we go further, here's the snapshot of our Red Zone retirement planning process. I'll show it to you in a real-life working example with Nancy and Bob in just a minute here. But what we do is that we cover your needs with reliable income in retirement, and we fund your wants with flexible inflation-adjusted withdrawals. And then we time segment your assets into go-go, slow-go, and no-go funds. All along the time, we're coordinating taxes along with your Roth conversion strategies, qualified charitable distributions, or maybe even using donor advised funds each and every single year. Now, let's look at why RMD-only spending fights that plan every single step of the way. I want you to know that RMDs are based on your December 31st account balance from the previous year. So withdrawals reflected are outdated values. Combine that with the fact that actuarial percentages increase each and every year, you get an erratic withdrawal system. 40,000 one year, 25 the next, and then 33,000. This volatility makes it nearly impossible to plan consistent retirement expenses. You can't plan your healthcare needs, housing, or travel when your income changes every single year. Predictable income is necessary for your fixed expenses. If you rely on market-driven spending, it will force you into lifestyle compromises over the course of your entire life, and we don't want that for you. The Red Zone Retirement Plan solves this by locking in your needs with stable income sources. Think Social Security, pensions, fixed annuities, dividends, or even rental income. So the markets, they don't dictate your groceries, your premiums for insurance or healthcare cost, or taxes, or the annual spending that you need to maintain your current standard of living. Then we use a rules-based, inflation-adjusted draw for your wants. So your lifestyle is steady and confidence stays high. Minimizing required minimum distributions may reduce this year's taxes, but it can create worse outcomes for your kids or beneficiaries. IRAs are lousy inheritance tools. Under the 10-year rule, beneficiaries must empty that account in those 10 years. Those withdrawals count as ordinary income for them, oftentimes during their peak earning years. I've seen this with many of my clients. That means that leaving large IRA balances can concentrate taxes for the next generation, resulting in higher total family tax payments, rather than if you drew strategically out from your own money during your lower income tax years in your retirement. So inside of our Red Zone retirement planning process, we use your lower income tax bracket years to pull forward withdrawals. We execute targeted Roth conversion strategies so your legacy can be tax-free. And we leverage those qualified charitable distributions where it fits. So the result is lower lifetime taxes for you and for your family, not just a one-time short-term win. Instead of RMDs, many planners in our world recommend a 4% withdrawal rate adjusted for inflation, and it creates stable, predictable income, and it protects your purchasing power. It lets many retirees start spending earlier in retirement with a lot more confidence. And unlike the RMD strategy, the 4% approach, it helps you budget without guessing. It avoids the income yo-yo year after year, and it treats your accounts as income-generating tools, not just tax shelters. The 4% rule, it can be a solid baseline, but we prefer in our process to customize your withdrawals through the Red Zone retirement lens. We custom fit your income each and every year based upon your tax situation, your healthcare timeline, and your timeline segment that you're in, the go-go, slow-go, or no-go years. So you're not just safe, you're also efficient. Now I want you to meet Bob and Nancy. They were in their early 70s. They were excellent savers, but very anxious spenders, which is not uncommon. Before they worked with us, their RMDs were around $32,000 a year, and they treated that like a hard ceiling. But in reality, when they went through our planning process, they could safely spend $58,000 per year after taxes and still hit every long-term goals that they had. Because of the spending ceiling that they put on themselves, they were putting off a long-planned Alaskan cruise with some friends that they had. They kept delaying it until the markets calmed down, until we hit this number. They were also delaying a modest kitchen refresh that they talked about for over a decade. Nancy, she had always wanted to take grandkids on experiences for their birthday. $1,000 with them, one-on-one, a birthday weekend trip. They dreamed of doing that for many years now. But the emotions got in the way. Nancy would always say, "I'm terrified of running out of money." Bob would always say, "I don't want to leave the kids a tax mess to deal with when we're gone." They weren't short on assets at all. What they were short on was clarity and permission, most importantly, a plan to spend their money. So we ran them through our red zone process. We got their needs covered by Social Security, a small fixed income annuity, and then we created that floor for the housing, groceries, premiums, and all of their taxes that was immune to any market swings for them. And we funded their wants with an inflation-adjusted go-go budget of $65,000 a year for the next 3 years, and then we slowly tampered that down in their slow-go years. Most importantly, we time-segmented their assets. We used accessible lower volatility dollars for the go-go window, growth funds for the no-go resilience years, and then we tax-coordinated their entire plan. We actually set some Roth conversion strategies for them in place to max out that 22% bracket. Plus, we also started doing qualified charitable distributions to their church each and every year. Through all of these things, we reduced their lifetime tax burden by over $100,000. And that beneficiary burden, it was material lower under the 10-year rule because of the strategies we were doing today. It was about 6 to 12 months later. Guess what they did? They booked the Alaskan cruise. They completed their kitchen remodel, and they launched that grandkids trip for their birthdays that they've been talking about for so long. Nancy actually came to us and said, "I finally know exactly what we can spend without second guessing it each and every year." And Bob said, "We're beating taxes legally. This is awesome. I'm enjoying life, and I know my kids will in the future as well." So why does this matter? Because if you waste years, they can't be recovered. Health and entertainment, those things declined as you age. Delaying enjoyment, it often means missing it altogether. If you have outdated fears, you're not using current math, you're driving your choices from a poor place. Good planning should enable confident spending, not enforcing perpetual caution and fear year after year. Now I want to give you the step-by-step guide that we use so you can see how the pieces all fit together. Step 1, begin with a realistic expense analysis. Know what your needs are and your desired lifestyles, not just a round number that you threw out there. Step 2, cover those needs with fixed income sources. Food, shelter, healthcare, insurance, and taxes. Get those things funded by Social Security, pensions, fixed annuities, dividends, or maybe even rental income. Nancy and Bob, their Social Security benefit plus a small annuity that we did gave them that confidence to support their needs. Step number 3, support your lifestyle with a rules-based inflation-adjusted withdrawal strategy. Treat this as your spending rule, not whatever the RMD happens to be. Our clients, that 65 target that we talked about, for the go-go funds, let them travel confidently. Be with their grandkids confidently. Those are very important to these clients. Step 4, time segment those assets for the go-go, slow-go, and no-go years. You need to front-load accessible dollars that's conservative for experiences, and the long-term funds, you need to have them in growth-oriented funds. Step 5, coordinate your taxes intentionally, not once, every single year. Manage your brackets and those IRMA thresholds. Prioritize Roth conversions before your RMDs if you're legacy focused. Use those qualified charitable distributions after 70.5 for your charitable goals and retest the plan every single year so you adapt without whiplash. Step 6, adjust without sacrificing your lifestyle. Here's what I mean. You need to use guardrails. Raise or lower based upon your withdrawal strategy and what band that you're in, the go-go, slow-go, or no-go years, so your plan can breathe without breaking. And of course, if there's market conditions, you may have to adjust things as well each and every year. Here's the bottom line. Our process aligns your spending with your life, not some RMD rule. If you want to enjoy more while you're healthy and active and keep flexibility for later on in life, and reduce your total family taxes, I'd encourage you to book a call with us. Our Red Zone retirement planning process is something that I'd love to take you to. So what I want you to do is go to the description of this video, fill out the questionnaire, and I'll personally send you analysis, walking through your exact situation, showing you how we can help you, just like we did Bob and Nancy. So here's a quick recap for you before I end this today. RMDs are for tax collection, not for lifestyle design. So in down markets, RMDs can drop, forcing you to do lifestyle cuts at the worst possible time. Budgeting becomes guesswork, and many retirees, they live below their means if this is what they're doing. Large IRAs left intact to your kids or beneficiaries can put them under the 10-year rule, leaving them in a high tax bracket. A coordinated, inflation-adjusted withdrawal strategy customized by our Red Zone retirement planning process creates predictability, confidence, and tax efficiency for your entire life. So now that you understand the RMD mistake that 84% of retirees make and how you can avoid this costly error through strategic withdrawal planning, you can optimize your retirement income rather than falling into the underspending trap. And if you want a personalized guidance, a personalized plan from us on developing a withdrawal strategy that maximizes your retirement income while avoiding common RMD mistakes, I want you to fill out the questionnaire in the description below, and I'll send you a detailed video showing you exactly how to optimize your retirement strategy. I'll see you on the next video.